I'm supposed to follow that up.
You serious?
I've got this. Probably. Welcome to the Day in the Life review of...
Gardeners of the Galaxy?
What? No. Rocket. So I let Groot fill out the paperwork. I fixed it.
For these kinds of reviews, I play a game for 24 hours and either give my initial impressions or a complete review of the game, depending on the game. For Guardians of the Galaxy, it'll be a complete review. Now, Guardians of the Galaxy was published by Square Enix, and it was developed by Eidos Montreal. And of special note for Guardians of the Galaxy, it was the winner of the 2021 Game Awards Best Narrative. Props. And they absolutely deserve it. And we'll find out why in this review. Now, you can play Guardians of the Galaxy on PS4, PS5, Xbox One, Xbox Series consoles, Steam, and Epic Games. Unfortunately, it's not on GOG as yet, but hopefully in the future.
Peter Quill, wake up.
Holy crap, Drax. You gotta stop doing this, man. It's weird.
We are approaching the quarantine zone.
How long was I out for?
15,338 ticks.
That's very specific.
The Betrayer is ready to begin her mission. She has requested your presence in the cockpit.
Gamora's on our side, Drax.
She is the spawn of my sworn enemy, a murderess and a traitor. I do not trust her.
Well, try. We're supposed to be a team.
I make no promises.
Normally at this point, I would talk about major plot twist, character developments, or climactic moments in the story, whether they hit me in the feels, whether I liked them, things like that. But I can't really do that here with Guardians of the Galaxy without ruining the main core and sustenance of the game, which is the story. Now, if I do my job right, because I will be talking about things from the story, but if I do things right, I'll be leaving out all of the context, and so shouldn't be spoiling anything. Hopefully.
I know. We clearly need a plan.
And reconsider my initial proposal.
Oh, no, not Fin Fang Foom again.
Yes, we should go after Fin Fang Foom.
Drax, there are easier ways to get paid. Like, what about selling Gamora's crap?
What?
Oh, come on, you've been hoarding them stupid knickknacks ever since you first joined us. I mean, don't tell me they ain't worth nothing.
Guys! Let's just hear Drax out this time.
Fin Fang Foom is the fiercest, most legendary monster in the galaxy. It shatters the bones of all who go after it. The skulls of the greatest hunters are impaled upon its fangs. Well, imagine the glory of such a death.
Our goal isn't death, Drax.
Glorious death!
Out of the question.
Well, in that case...
You're not selling my stuff!
Guardians of the Galaxy is an adrenaline-filled, hilarious, wild ride, tagging along with the Guardians as they take on a nut job bent on saving the galaxy. You come into the story after a major event called the Chitauri Wars, and it's indicated that the Guardians are still somewhat newly formed. In the Chitauri Wars, Thanos was doing his one and only shtick, and various factions were working to stop him and succeeded. The Nova Corps was the main faction fighting Thanos, with some occasional help from Star-Lord and the Ravagers, who were mainly doing their pirate thing, which would also sometimes land Quill in prison. Rocket and Groot were doing their bounty hunting thing and mostly tried to stick away from the war. They were in and out of prison too. Gamora betrayed Thanos and swapped sides in the back end of the war, and Drax was on his quest for vengeance for the death of his family. And in this universe, slayed Thanos.
Allegedly.
Attaboy, Drax. After the war, presumably when they met in prison, Star-Lord and Rocket decided to start up the Guardians as a joint business venture. Not too long after, they recruited Drax and Gamora. And this is where we come in. The Guardians are on an early job scavenging a restricted zone for salvage. And they are in no way looking for a rare creature to find to be able to catch and sell to a monster queen for a big payday that could be considered a biological hazard by some old and obscure Nova Corps laws.
Nice gizmos, Rocket.
I'm calling them thumpers on account of the noise they make. Assuming we get past the force field and reach your coordinates in one piece, all we gotta do is set them up, and these babies are gonna draw out our monster in no time.
Not at all. Now, this restricted zone starts the story arc we experience, and along with the next short section, function as the tutorial areas and the setup for the story. As players move through this first area, they will become acquainted with traversal, which not only involves some light platforming, but also commanding various guardians to aid Quill in unlocking the path forward or allowing him to access areas he otherwise couldn't, even with his boost jump from his rocket boots. Sometimes these can be overt or pretty well hidden, and all will need to be utilized to collect secrets such as Guardian collectibles or components. Quill's visor can help to locate most of these. As our heroes move deeper into this area, players are also introduced to combat via some cactus ball looking creatures and receive a tutorial on dodging, shooting, locking on, and using various Guardian combat skills. These tutorial sections are delivered via small text pop-ups while having players navigate the controls. As an example, the first time players use Groot's ability to make a root bridge to cross a gap, a brief text explanation pops up on the side of the player's HUD as they bring up the visor to track the objective and receive instructions on how to command Groot. The same is done for combat, and these tutorials are very well done by having players do what they are being told as they do it, as opposed to a massive text dump and being expected to remember things later. Honestly, one of the best tutorials I've seen in the game. But once you do complete a tutorial, you are expected to remember things, and they might not come up frequently. Forgetting can be punishing. Trust me. The QuickTime events can be punishing as well. They pop up infrequently and are presented in various ways, so definitely be looking out. None are so punishing though that they require a long sequence of buttons or aren't easy to figure out after failing a time or two. Quill just has to be quick on his feet. Now, the last major thing that Guardians are introduced to in this section of the tutorial is dialogue events. The Guardians are always chatting, complaining, fussing, and arguing every step of the way through every bit of the game, and periodically Quill will get the option to interject into the conversation or let the opportunity pass. Interjecting will affect a certain Guardian's disposition towards Quill, which can change certain dialogue options when talking to other Guardians on or in between missions. All of this builds on itself as players move through the rest of this tutorial area and get various Guardian shenanigans along the way. These shenanigans actually result in the Guardians both finding what they're looking for, sorta, and having to leave hurriedly on the Milano, which lands players in an explosive on-rails flight tutorial to escape the restricted zone and into the waiting arms of the back half of the tutorial. Brought to you by a...
Please don't be Nova Corps, please don't be Nova Corps, please don't be Nova Corps.
It is Nova Corps.
In this section of the tutorial, previous elements are built on and players get a chance to become familiar with many of the basics of moving through a new area. This section also introduces a few of the main characters that the Guardians will be interacting with throughout the rest of the story, and even the antagonist. But the main thing that results from this part of the tutorial is the underlying setup for the rest of the game.
The fine's non-negotiable. My search party found a disturbing amount of prohibited tech lying around your ship.
Well, that's all they found, right? Okay. You'll get your money on time, no problem.
You've got 3 cycles, Peter. Not 4, not 5, 3. Contact me when you've got the units.
And if we don't?
The device we installed will deactivate your ship, and you will all go to prison.
Gotcha. We won't let you down.
And this is something that will come up multiple times throughout the rest of the story.
What the hell, Peter? You said you could get us out of this.
I did. 7,000 units is a small price.
7,000 units?
That is a tremendous sum.
Where are we gonna get that kind of money in 3 cycles?
By robbing a freaking bank, apparently.
Okay, so we got fined. So we have a Nova tracking thing on our ship that's gonna shut down our engines if we don't pay that fine in 3 cycles. At least we're not on a prisoner transport.
Not yet.
Come on, guys.
After all that, the Guardians are set free to pay their fine, and players are free to begin experiencing the story and the universe of Guardians of the Galaxy. And here's where the overall structure of the game begins to take shape. A comic arc. Now hear me out. Eidos Montreal did a superb job in this regard. Each major location of the game is like playing through a singular issue in a comic book arc. This both greatly benefits the pacing of the story as well as the player. The story moves along at a great pace with the momentum of one event rolling right into the next. But it also has slower moments that take place on the Milano, which allow players to dig down more into the backstory of each Guardian in this universe, as well as their thoughts and feelings on the current story or things that players have recently done. The backstory is mostly explored through the Guardian collectibles I mentioned before, so if you want to experience the whole story, then keep Quill's visor peeled for possible secrets. Quick side note. The Milano. There's a fridge. Close it. Every time you see it, trust me, totally worth the payoff. Last little note on the Milano. The sections here also make really great stopping points for gaming sessions, so if, you have about hour, 2 hours to be able to spare, and you know you're going to need a place to stop, Milano's got your back. Within their comic arc, Eidos Montreal crafted multiple pathways through the story, and good stories are built around good characters. The paths are chosen by what major decisions players choose to have Quill make at certain points in the story. Unlike the dialogue interjections, these kinds of choices have a big impact on the story experience, changing how a mission or other certain events will unfold. These choices can take a while to pan out, almost like Eidos Montreal wanted players to forget about some of these decisions before they came up again. Kind of like that find I mentioned earlier.
You know what? Screw this. Cancel payment.
Peter!
What? It's not like Nova Corps is gonna come after us. They're leaving.
Exactly.
All teams involved deserve top marks in delivering unique performances on familiar characters. They stay true to the core of their characters and are equal to their 616 and MCU counterparts.
Not the most well-known heroes you could hire, but definitely in the top 5 of most awesome names. Contributing members. Groot, a Flora Colossus, last of his kind, fearless in a firefight, an awesome best friend. Rocket, bona fide super genius and a wizard with explosives. Definitely not a raccoon. Gamora, adopted daughter of Thanos, deadliest woman in the galaxy. Need we say more? Drax the Destroyer, convicted serial murderer and galactic war hero, often grumpy. Last and definitely least, Peter Jason Quill.
That's it? That's all you wrote?
It was a character limitation.
Robert Montcalm as Groot, and he also voices 2 other roles, delivers some wonderfully emotional speeches and wise one-liners.
I am Groot. I am Groot.
Jason Cavalier as Drax delivers that wonderful, serious, and hilarious performance to the very end, and he even gets an emotional scene.
The assassin and the rodent. Without them and the tree fighting nobly beside us, we would not be alive right now.
I told you, they're not bad people just because they have a bad past. Life is complicated, Drax. Things are never simple.
On Katath, it was. I had a family that I cherished and a certainty about life that I no longer possess.
I'm sure you'll find it again. Just give it some time.
Kimberly Sue Murray as Gamora embodies that hot yet stern, total badass older sister with a dark past type of character, and she will really reach out and grab you with the emotion she can express.
This isn't about Thanos! It's about Nikki, and what men like Raker and Thanos do to girls like her. Like me. My sister. If I had just been better at protecting Nebula, maybe...
Alex Weiner gets to be my favorite Guardian, Rocket. And Rocket is still cemented as my favorite after Alex's performance. Everything I expected to be here for Rocket was here, and a little bit more. I didn't know that Rocket was... Well, I'll leave that for you to discover.
Can you froth?
I can froth.
Can you twitch?
Yeah, I'm pretty twitchy.
Alright. On my cue, you drop, froth, and twitch. While they're all distracted, we take off down one of them side halls.
What about me?
You, well, you take one for the team.
John McLaren is superb as Star-Lord, even though this one has a completely unique aspect of his character in this universe.
12.
Ha! Congratulations, Peter Quill. You will make a terrible father.
Yep. That's right. This guy. Quill is
Peter Quill, order your offspring to come down from there this instant.
Yep. Don't know what else to say.
I need you to provide parental stuff. I mean, come on, man. You did just save the galaxy. Twice. So, obviously, embracing this new role is definitely probably going to be just,
As the players follow along with the Guardians on their quest to pay their fine, they will also meet multiple familiar characters for a Guardian story, such as Cosmo.
Guardian of Galaxies will tell Cosmo why they broke into Continuum Cortex.
Cosmo's puppies.
What the...
Mantis.
Dark is an unknown, not as in bad. I mean, it might be bad. But no way can it be worse than the futures I did see, because those were definitely bad. Very bad. You don't want to know how bad.
Can someone please translate her?
And Dommy Mommy Hellbender. They will also get to see many familiar places for a Guardian story too, such as Nowhere. Now, come on, these are not spoilers. Nowhere and Cosmo pop up all the time, and Mantis is a part of the team a lot of the time. Again, all teams involved should be proud of how they represented these unique yet familiar characters and locations. Alright, now here is where I get to kind of cut in a little bit and talk more about some of the gamey stuff. The moment-to-moment gameplay is what's going to keep people coming back, and that's going to be important for Guardians of the Galaxy because we'll be talking about a new Game Plus feature. Now, just to start off, combat and skill usage, because superheroes fight, and fighting is important for superheroes. And Guardians of the Galaxy, combat's really fluid. I never really felt like I was clunky or like I didn't have the capabilities to be able to move through an area or deal with the situation. The dodge has a pretty good range and it's got a pretty quick reset, so you can actually dodge in rapid succession pretty easily, and they don't really have like a stamina bar, so you don't have to really worry about like running into a period where you can't dodge unless there's some kind of like enemy status effect on you, right? Now, on M&K, it was a little clunky at first, but you're learning the controls. Even so, I did find myself getting sort of like finger crossed, right? Like trying to press buttons, different ones at the same time. But I'm going to call that more of a me thing than I am like something wrong with Guardians. It's probably just a me thing. And, you can even rebind the keys, so it's a me thing I'm going to go with, but just a heads up, it can be a little clunky when you're just getting used to it, but otherwise it's really fluid. Locking on, being able to swap lock on from one enemy to the other, it's right click on the mouse, that was really simple and easy for me, It basically kind of takes the place of like my ADS button from a first person shooter. Left click was, shoot with Quill. He's got 2 guns, and you didn't really have to worry about like shooting the left or the right one. Pretty much wherever you were aiming and however you were moving would change like his position, and he would automatically swap between like one or both guns. It was really nice. Never really felt like there was a situation in which that like hampered me or anything. But jumping back to getting a little finger crossed, one thing that was really difficult to get, kind of confused on mouse and keyboard, and I really, really like this, was how they treated Guardian skills. I basically had 1 through 4, right? 1 being each different Guardian I would command, like, let's see here, 4 was Rocket, 1 was Groot, 2 was Gamora, and 3 was Drax, right? And then once you hit 1 through 4, that brings up another little sub-menu that also uses 1 through 4, and that's how you pick the individual skill that you would use. Again, really fluid, really simple, it was really intuitive. Now you could also bring up Quill through that same kind of menu, but you could also, instead of pressing Shift to bring up that menu to select which Guardian you want to use their abilities, you could just press Control for Quill's abilities, and having that right there, you can just, it's just a move of the pinky on the mouse and keyboard, at least for me, and it was just, again, really fluid, really intuitive. It worked. Not to quote Todd Howard, but now, Guardians of the Galaxy comes in 4 different difficulties. It comes with an easy, a normal, a hard, and then a custom, where you can change various things about the difficulty, kind of create your own like custom super hard difficulty or your custom super easy difficulty. I played on normal, and then I did a New Game Plus. I haven't gone back and done a hard mode yet, but multiple playthroughs are definitely encouraged, and we're gonna find out why when we talk about playtime value. But New Game Plus, it takes the difficulty you were on, and it allows you to pre-play through the story with all the skills, all the costumes, everything you found and unlocked, all the Guardian collectibles, etc. Even your little stash of components, however many you had when you completed the game. And it just amps up the difficulty a little bit. Kind of puts you on a sort of in-between normal and hard mode, which I guess is really good for New Game Plus, right? Now, if you're wanting New Game Plus to like amp it up to the next level of difficulty, like take it from normal to hard, it's not really designed for that. It does interject like some slightly tankier enemies, and they do a little bit more damage, and there are more enemies in certain sequences, but again, it's an in-between difficulty. If you're wanting to step it up to that difficulty, you do have to create a new save, but hey, gives a chance for you to replay the game, pick some different story options, try a different pathway, see what you missed on the other one. Now, when it comes to learning the skills, the different combat skills that you use, the 1 through 4s, you learn that via basically gaining experience from each combat section that you get into, and you level up, sort of. Level up, you don't actually have like a character level anything. Basically, when you level up, you just get a new skill point to spend, and you'll need 1 skill point for the base skill on each Guardian, 2 skill points for the next skill on them, 3, and so on. But the 4th skill, you don't actually need 4 skill points to get it. That's an ultimate ability, and you'll unlock that as you go through the story. At certain points in the story, you'll unlock certain Guardians' ultimates, and then once you have them unlocked, you have them unlocked. I do like how the ultimates are kind of tied to those story moments because, well, I mean, you'll see when you get into and play through the game, but there's sort of like this moment that brings about their ultimate, if you will. The last thing I can talk about that's combat related is the huddle.
It feels like they're everywhere, laughing at us.
And yet, we cannot retreat.
No one wants to retreat, big guy, but I gotta say, it's fucking scary out there, Quill.
Florknard's on the field, danger on all sides. Then it's time we stand and face it, and make sure they're nullified! Are we heroes to be laughed at? No! I'll laugh at them instead! Who's with me? Die, thieves!
We are!
Time to...
Now, the huddle is when, say, you've done so well, you've built up basically this sort of ability bar on the side of your screen over there. The huddle is a moment for you to either be like, hey, we're getting our butts kicked, we need to regroup, or hey, you know, we're kicking their butt, let's just drive it home and make this as quick as possible. It unlocks essentially a 0 cooldown whenever you use a Guardian's skill ability, or combat skill rather. Usually when you use a combat skill, there's a little bit of a cooldown before you can select that Guardian and use another one of their combat skills. Once you've activated the huddle, just keep spamming them, and you can dish out some major pain. It's really nice. Something that's really big for me in a game is music. I was a music kid in high school. I was a band nerd, you know. I'm a music nerd, right? And, well, I kind of really like 70s and 80s music. That's sort of my two favorite time periods of music. And the music here is awesome. And I haven't even played the game without streamer mode on. So I've only heard the original Star-Lord soundtrack that was created for the game. And so the music was something that I really paid attention to, right? And this Star-Lord soundtrack is absolutely awesome. They did a wonderful job creating this soundtrack for the game. If you really want a chance to get to listen to the whole thing before you get into the game, you get a little section at the very beginning of the game where you can listen to the whole Star-Lord soundtrack if you want. If you got an hour of time, totally worth it. Now, I've been looking on Steam and Epic, and GOG, of course the game's not on GOG, so the soundtrack's not on GOG, but the soundtrack's not available on Steam or Epic either. It is available through Amazon Music, so that's where I'm looking at maybe possibly buying the soundtrack, because, well, depending on the price. When I looked to see if it was there, I didn't actually look at the price, so depending on the price, I might pick it up, because this is a soundtrack I'd really like to have. And absolutely top Steve S, Johan B, Vince T, and Yannick T. Now, the last major thing I want to talk about when it comes to the sort of gamey stuff is tech issues, because seemingly every game has them, or everybody has some kind of bad experience. I actually had no tech issues at all. The only tech issue I can think of, I'm willing to bet I brought it on myself. My game crashed. It didn't crash my computer. It didn't crash anything else that was running on the computer. It just crashed the game. But I was going back and trying to capture like little different scenes of video for the review, and it's like little bits of like optional dialogue. You know, if I choose this, you know, I hear this. If I choose this, I hear that. And so I was going back and I was reloading a checkpoint. Like within a minute, I was reloading the same checkpoint several times, and the game crashed. So points, that's probably a tech issue I brought on myself and not an actual tech issue with the game. This is not really a tech issue, but like the one major gripe that I have with the game, I guess you'd throw it in with polish, is that there are certain points as you're going through the story, or you get out of a fight, or you know, it's like showing you your level up and hey, you unlocked a skill point, something like that, or oh hey, you got this, you know, costume or other, you know, secret, or you got some components. That stuff on the HUD will actually bleed into cutscenes. It's probably being a little bit nitpicky, maybe. I mean, but it bleeds into certain cutscenes, and that's just my one major gripe of the game. That's just really annoying, and I think, you know, with a little more polish, probably could have, you know, edited, cut that, time that maybe a little bit better for those particular sequences. I don't know, maybe it wasn't possible, but that's my big gripe.
It is done!
Okay, we'll give you this one. Shall we? Our dormasses await.
After everything is over and things are wrapping up, you get a nice sequence showcasing all of the major decisions made across the game, and then the credits start to roll. And this is where MCU fans want to perk up and not tune out. there is a mid-credit scene. Well, it's actually a mid-credits boss fight, and
I feel simply fabulous.
Now, I can't pass up talking about the boss fights. Most of them are good. Some are more chaotic or difficult than others. Boss fights come in two main varieties, arena and platform. The arena fights usually have tight arenas that keep the fight focused between the Guardians and the boss. They tend to be the more intense ones, and the boss will have some mechanics or be backed up by some smaller enemies. The platform boss fights have the Guardians dodging attacks and fighting smaller enemies while pecking away at the boss's weak points to open up larger windows to lay on the real pain. These tend to be the more epic in scope too, but less intense. Okay, Moorcat, you've talked about the story. You kept it pretty darn actual spoiler free, right? And you didn't really, reveal anything, that would kind of make me not want to play the game. You seem to have all good things to say about it, the story, the characters, the combat, the music. You even kind of doted on the game for not too many tech issues. So do you recommend it? Well, yeah, I do. This is a definite recommend and a strong recommend. Absolutely. Now, I recommend it really strongly because I'm the gamer. I fall into the camp where I didn't play the game because of Marvel's Avengers. Now, I like Marvel's Avengers. I platinumed that game on PlayStation 4, so obviously I liked it, but it wasn't good, right? It didn't have the support. It left a sour taste in my mouth, and I was just kind of like, forget Guardians. I didn't even give it a chance. That was a mistake. I should have given it a chance back then. Again, it's the winner of the 2021 Game Awards Best Narrative, and I really can't compliment this game enough. Strongly recommend, definitely recommend. Well, let's talk playtime value. Playtime value is something I advocate for. I always advocate, you should never, ever get less than 1 hour per dollar that you spend on a game. Guardians is a bit of a weird one. Guardians is $60. Yes. $60, not on sale. You can get it on Steam, you can get it on Epic, you can get it on Xbox, you can get it on PlayStation. Hopefully GOG's coming. Hopefully. But $60. Now, if you give the game 3 playthroughs, say a normal playthrough, a new game plus, and you start a new game and you do a harder difficulty, you can easily get 65 hours out of this game, and that's going to get you great playtime value. Essentially with Guardians, the more playthroughs that you can get, the better the playtime value is going to be. Now, if you're the kind of gamer that, I'm going to pick it up, I'm going to play through the story once, I'm going to put it down, I'm probably never coming back. I can't really say it's got good playtime value for $60 then. If you can get it on sale, then yeah, sure. If you can get it on sale for like $25 or less, then you do one playthrough, you put it down, you never play through it again, and you do a kind of a complete playthrough, like, you try to find everything that you can, then yeah, you'll get your money's worth. But if you're literally just going to sit down, breeze through the story as quick as you can, not worry about the side quest, not care about any of the secrets or digging down into any of this, the extra stuff that you can, this game doesn't have good playtime value. Now, for how I've played the game, I've gotten great playtime value for it. Of course, I got the game free on Epic, so I didn't actually pay anything for it. I got it as one of the free weekly games that Epic puts out. And so, of course, me getting over 24 hours of gameplay, I got great playtime value, right? Like, of course, that's why I'm super happy. I didn't spend any money on it. But to talk the money into the equation, if you're going to spend $60 on it, you need to get at least 3 playthroughs. Then the rest of the credits roll, and our space nomads get a real Marvel treatment to their credits as they fly off into the space sunset to do a bit of good and a bit of bad. Right?
What's happening?
We appear to have lost power.
Sounds like a Nova Corps disabler. You guys paid your fine, right?
Oh, Flark!
Flark! I mean, this is some BS. We just saved the galaxy, mostly by ourselves, almost died several times, a couple because of Rocket. We went all the places, did all of the things, and some of them were potently fragrant. And we didn't even get paid for it. I mean, this is some dog. Thank you all for watching my day in the life review of Guardians of the Galaxy. I do want to say thank you very much for all of your time, especially if you made it all the way to the end of the video. I really appreciate it if you did. Now, make sure to go check out Guardians of the Galaxy if you find it interesting, or if it's something that you've been thinking about. It's definitely worth your time, and, well, hopefully we'll see it come to GOG Galaxy soon. A DRM-free version would be a wonderful thing. Please drop a like and share around to help out the review, and of course, subscribe for more. And as always,